So these guys are all, first time I've met all of them, so I'm going to have to go off the paper right here. Ladies and gentlemen, the first act coming to the stage. Now you break out the camera. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage for the very first time, all the way from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. A big round of applause for Bradford Davis. Bradford Davis.
Guys, keep it going for your host, Frank. I'm a little bummed that I have to get introduced as coming from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Don't get me wrong, I like Downingtown. But Downingtown's one of those weird suburbs that's the worst place to claim where you're from. If you're talking to anybody, you're outside of Pennsylvania, you say, I'm from Philly. If anyone from Philly hears you say that, they will beat you up. It's tough. Like, I live only an hour away. There's no reason for me to get a hotel room to come here. That's not a bad drive. And I got one because I like to drink. Where my drinkers at? Let's hear it. Yes, my people. I will see you later with one eye closed. It's tough because I was trying to get an Uber here. I do not need another DUI. Ubers aren't here. Yeah. So I am going to be on my best behavior. Like I said, I do not need another DUI. The first one I got, there were signs that I had been drinking. And those were the turn here signs that I ran over as I drove off a small cliff. Yeah, when the arresting officer asked me, how much have you had to drink tonight? I looked at him and I said, oh, you don't know? That makes two of us. Don't mind if you see me look at my wrist every 5 seconds to check for my jokes. Got me through Spanish 3, it'll get me through tonight. That being said, I am glad to see everyone who came out tonight. Thank you very much. Give yourselves all a round of applause. Yeah, you guys deserve it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to see a little diversity in the age groups that we got here too. We've got some baby boomers, we've got some Gen Z, some Gen Ys, some millennials. It's great. And you know what? I hate it when they try and pit us against each other. When they try to say, you know, oh, well, this generation does this generation does that. No, it's nonsense, you know? We should all get along. We should all come together to tell Gen Z how awful they are. Jesus Christ. I'm 35 years old. I've been around a while. I remember when restaurants had smoking sections. Anybody else? Yeah, that's the thing. Now the only time you ever see smoking in a restaurant is some Gen Z kid hitting his vape and blowing it under the bar so no one sees it. Oh, you're very stealthy, Chad. No one knows where that cloud at your feet just came from. We're all wondering why we all smell strawberry douche flute. Right? Always got a name like Bryson. I don't know. Gen Z. Gen Z's tough, man. I mean, they kind of drive me up a wall, but it's the younger generation, and it is what it is. You gotta keep in mind, these kids grew up on tablets and cell phones. Like, their insult to each other is go touch grass. How is an insult go outside? Like, that blows my mind. But I don't like the way they replace words, right? Like the other day I heard a Gen Z kid say BDE. I was like, what is that? And they're like, it means confidence. And I was like, no. What are the letters? And they're like, BDE stands for big dick energy. Really? I gotta tell you, I don't like that phrase. I don't like it at all. Because BDE is a lot like this month's rent payment. I don't have it. Sorry, Nance, you can keep asking for it, it's not happening. Oh, my landlord hates that joke. Because it's true. Because Nance is short for Nancy, and she's my mom. Yeah, it is tough being a 35-year-old that works 4 jobs and lives with his mom. Now, I'll be honest, whether you laughed at that or not, that's okay. I know what I am. I know what I'm working through. But that joke has saved lives. I do a lot of open mics. I see a lot of 22-year-olds telling their jokes and not getting laughs and going, oh man, what am I doing with my life? Oh, not even funny. And then they hear me talk about my life and they go, how old is he? Shit, I'm doing fine. Look at this loser. Oh, he doesn't even have hair. Oh. Yeah, just, out here doing the Lord's work. You're welcome. Some of those are your kids, maybe not. I don't care either way. It doesn't matter. I do have 4 jobs, though. I do have 4 jobs, and one of which is I'm a bouncer at a bowling alley. I don't know why everyone laughs at that. Screw you guys. But everyone laughs at that. I think it's because a real bouncer can throw someone out of a club based on how they're dressed. The best I can do is look at their shoes and go, you think you're getting in here with those? And then I rent them an uglier pair of shoes. I also drive for Lyft. Part of the reason why I was appalled that no one here does. Driving for Lyft is tough, When you drive for Lyft, you're forgettable. People are in your car, they're out of your car, you don't exist anymore. And it shows up in the tips, or the lack thereof. Tip your drivers. I'm sorry, you don't have them. Okay, that's fine. But now it's tough. One ride I got forgotten 3 times. I'm going to tell you each time. First off, they were like, hey man, can you take us to Wawa before we go home? I was like, you know what? It wasn't in the trip, but sure. And they go, do you want anything when we go into Wawa? I was like, I'm going to be driving all night. You could get me anything with caffeine, that'd be great. And yet, as they come out of the Wawa, I notice their hands suspiciously empty of anything with caffeine. I've been forgotten once. Now, before I can even think of what to say to these young gentlemen, they got in the back of someone else's car. I've been forgotten twice. Now, as you might imagine, the person whose car they got into was not happy to see them. Not a fan. So they come running back to my car, full speed. They go, oh man, we got in someone else's car. I know. I watched. Like, we gotta get out of here. Like, okay. So I'm driving away. And they say, dude, he was really mad. Floor it. And now I've been forgotten for a 3rd time. Because I picked them up in a Kia. Do you know what happens when you floor it in a Kia? Nothing! You just hear the engine cry, oh man, I'm trying. Yeah, it wasn't a good night. Luckily, my family does somewhat support me doing this, but I worry. My family's getting older. And unfortunately, dementia does run in my family, so I'm always keeping an eye on my dad. And the other day, I heard him say to his buddy, Brad's a patient. Now, I'll be honest, as you might have guessed by having 4 jobs, I don't really have health insurance. So if I'm a patient, that's news to me. So I'm saying, does he know something I don't? Or is it time to talk to a doctor about what's going on upstairs? So he gets off the phone and says, hey, Dad. I work a lot of different jobs. I do a lot of things. None of that has anything to do with being a patient. And he goes, no, you're a patient. All right, big fella. You are going to have to explain to me what that means. And he looks at me, dead in the eyes. And he says, you're a patient because your retirement plan is patiently waiting for me to die. Yeah. Good news, guys. He is sharp as a tack. The dementia just isn't there. It is the worst version of like Punxsutawney Phil, you know? You know, the groundhog that sees his shadow and tells you, oh, 6 more weeks of winter. Except in this case, the shadow is me. And I'm white knuckling the back of his chair whenever he logs into his online banking. He looks at me and goes, mm-mm. I'm like, 6 more years of financial hardship. Listen, I know that's a little dark, guys. So what I want to say to you, I love my dad, love my family. And if I don't say anything else to you, if you don't remember me for tonight's show, I just want you to remember, when you go home, or maybe tomorrow, call a friend, call a parent, call a loved one, and just tell them you love them, okay? Just everyone, just share some of that. And if you have a sibling and a parent, tell that parent to write your sibling out of the will. Guys, my name is Bradford Davis. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Great, Bradford Davis, thank you. That's how it works.